my overall thoughts on Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. At first, I'm not even gonna lie, I was a little scared because I went into this expecting it to like kind of be a banger right out the box, but there was like some weird learning curve that I was not expecting. The game felt very sluggish. It felt like I had weights on, and I'm not talking about like on my own feet. I felt like the game itself like was just weighted down, like everything was like super heavy, and that obviously took some time to get used to. And speaking of getting used to, had to get used to the mechanics, right? So I'm not 100% on like, you know, the SPG stuff. Like I'm getting used to it now, of course, like 4 hours in, but like the first couple hours was definitely like really hard to just kind of get used to this new system and just like how you are supposed to play this, because there really is no EX meter. Like you don't have to worry about that until you get like burned out, or in this case you're like, you know, you're overheated. But this game is the type of game where they want you to do crazy, you know, combos, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, especially for a character like Mai, like from what I was able to figure out, because one of the things that this beta lacked in is that there is no training mode. There's just a tutorial, and the tutorial is like very bare bones, and it's not the greatest, but it at least was able to kind of start me off with something, because otherwise I would have been lost in the sauce, and I probably would have been reviewing this and critiquing this way worse than how I'm even coming off right now. So with all that being said, I'm glad that I pushed through, and I didn't like just shut it off or like being like, you know what, this isn't for me. I just actually tried to play the game how it was supposed to be played, or meant to be played, with the mechanics that are intended to be used how they're supposed to use it. And I'm not used to playing fighting games where I'm linking all these EX moves back to back and like chaining them. But once I started doing that, I was like, oh, so this is how you're supposed to play. So it's like when you go along with how a game is obviously is designed, then you may find more enjoyment out of it instead of trying to play it how you want to play it. And I know that like certain characters might fit a play style better than others for a lot of, you know, different players and player types. But I will say, for me, I only played Rock Howard because he's like the default in training mode. So I was like, okay, like he's whatever. But then I forgot that Mai was in the game. So I'm like, oh, let me just play Mai. And I was literally locked in on Mai the entire rest of my play session. So overall, I had like a 47% win rate. And I mean, you know, that's one of my favorite numbers. So I'm not even mad. So in total, it looked like I played 57 games, 27 wins, 30 losses. My maximum winning streak was 4, no draws. And I decided to just end it on a win because, you know, it feels good. And I got up to rookie 3. I don't know what the highest ranks are or anything like that. But for being a noob, I consider myself a noob despite me playing Garo and other SNK fighting games in the past. I consider myself like a baby when it comes to stuff like this. So I'm very happy that I was able to catch on, you know, once I was able to figure, okay, I'm supposed to chain things with EXs, but I'm obviously like, the more I do it, the faster I'm gonna get, you know, burnt out. You know, I'm Capcom, sorry, like, you know, it's ingrained into my soul. So it's like I'm saying Street Fighter phrases, even though I don't mean to disrespect SNK and Fatal Fury, but when I get overheated, you know, it's obviously something that players got to keep in mind. So it's like when you combine that, and then you also combine the SPG, when you have the SPG unlocked, you're able to essentially extend your combo after doing certain EX moves. And the one thing that I wasn't able to figure out with Mai was how to combo all her stuff into like one of her like her supers. And even though I wasn't able to do that, I was still having pretty good matches, and I was, you know, I was able to at least get close to a 50% win rate overall. And the fact of the matter is, I at least feel like I learned, and I was able to apply what I was basically trying to figure out on the fly, because again, no training mode, there was no way for me to, you know, practice. It's like, honestly, it's like the best way that honestly practice is when I'm just doing it in an actual match, because, you know, I'm seeing and feeling out certain buttons and normals and just how things are. So that's basically where I'm at mentally, and I'm actually glad that, like I said, I stuck it out, because I hate to be like a deadbeat down. I'm normally not like that. Like, I always try to find the good in things, and if this ended up not really being for me, you know, I would have been honest and I would have said that. But thankfully, I don't think that anymore, and I think that this is a great game, and I'm actually curious even more so to seeing how they adapt Ken and Chun-Li, because let's not forget, they're going to be DLC characters in this game later this year, and I would assume that they're going to be playable before EVO. So this game comes out in April. Now, this is 2 months away, even though like February is basically, you know, done at this point, because next week is March. So realistically, it's like maybe like a month and a half, a month and some change. So will I get this? I'm definitely going to try. I definitely want the game. I would like to collect it, but if by any means or some luck that someone stumbles across this and they're just like, you know what? I'm gonna gift this guy the game digitally. I'm totally open to accepting any digital codes, preferably for PlayStation, because my PC unfortunately can't really handle too many things at once right now, especially when I'm doing streams. So yeah, so I'm definitely locked in for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves officially. I'm glad that I was able to at least put some time in and actually figure the game out. And I'm also looking forward not just to my Street Fighter cast joining the, you know, the Fatal Fury cast, but I'm also looking forward to seeing how a lot of the other characters that Fatal Fury is bringing. I used to play Butt in Gorilla Mark of the Wolves. I don't think his name is not Butt anymore, if I'm not mistaken. I want to see how he feels and plays, because, you know, I like being able to play a fighting game and play multiple characters, because I feel like that's the best and most optimal way to truly enjoy a fighting game in its complete package. Because I think a lot of people forget that when you're so used to playing a certain character, that's how a game, I feel like, gets stale faster. I mean, you might have fun, especially if you're winning all the time or whatever, but if you're not winning all the time, or you maybe even if you are winning, you might get bored, and so you might want to try out another character. Like, I feel like if, you know, the more characters you can play in a fighting game, the more fun you can have. You know, that's just my philosophy. So, and I always try to play as many characters as I can with any fighting game that I pick up, but, you know, sometimes I do find a character that really resonates with me, and I just stick it out, and I just, you know, learn as much as I can, and then I even try to see like what other people are doing in the Ditto that maybe I'm not doing, so I can like try to incorporate that into my arsenal. So that's just me. So yes, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. I will say, as far as the online goes, I'll talk on that. So I had my connection speed was at level 4+, so it's like anyone with a 4 or higher, and I did leave crossplay on so that, you know, I had a fair shot at matchmaking with, you know, anyone that was on. I was playing on the PlayStation, and I am wired, so I ain't doing that Wi-Fi shit, okay? We don't do that here. Overall, I would say, like, I would give it the experience, like, out of 10, maybe like an 8 or an 8.5, because the majority of the games that I played were pretty smooth, but there were a few funny moments where as soon as I started winning, these motherfuckers started lagging. That happened a couple times. Not in every match, but I found that very suspicious, that I can even mention or even ask, like, are people really still out here like lag switching in games? Like, are we still doing that in 2025? But either way, the experience overall was really good. The only things that I guess, you know, I mean, I know this is a beta, but I think that the game would definitely do better with a better tutorial, or, you know, I'm sure a training mode is going to be available when the game is, you know, officially done and out the oven. As far as this beta is concerned, I do feel good coming out of it, and I'm glad that I did play, like I said, a bunch of times already. I'm looking forward to April when it comes around, and checking this game out even more, and, you know, playing it more, maybe adding it to my regular repertoire in playing it often on stream when I do have the time to do that. So if there's any other things you guys maybe want to leave in the comments, then let me know. And let me know what your experiences were if you were able to play the game, and what you are looking forward to, and if there's any other things that you might be looking forward to in relation to this. Because hey, I know that there's a big collaboration and crossover between Capcom and SNK now. We're already getting the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 that's featuring CVS 2 and a bunch of other Capcom games like Power Stone and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure my biggest prediction going forward is that we're 100% getting a CVS 3 in the near future. I would even go as far as saying. Let's see how the rest of the year plays out. But again, let's look forward to April as well. So let me know. And that's it.